All right. So, good evening to all of you. First of all, a big thanks to Isha for being there and to guide everyone about BITS HD. And yes, as we are aware, the form for BITS exams are also out today as per the notification. So, I would say it's a right time to have a track in with regards to how the form filling can be done. And yes, of course, for the first time, we are going to have an entire half an hour session where we are going to discuss just about BITS. So this discussion would include everything बिट्स एग्जाम क्या है कितने क्वेश्चंस का है कितना टाइम मिलता है many of them have heard about two stipends, one stipend from government which we usually get via GPAT, one from BITS. BITS also has something for teaching assistantship, and due to COVID what are the changes, how they've adapted. So in short, in total बहुत सारे questions है दिमाग में which needs to be answered at a go. And yes, one by one let's get a clarity about all of them. So just to briefly introduce Isha, Isha has pursued her B.pharm from a college in Mumbai, Saraswati Vidya Bhavan's College of Pharmacy, SVBCP, and she was GPAT qualified. She was targeting NIPER as well, and BITS was a better option based on the ranking and other factors. In so that's why she is pursuing her masters in pharmaceutics from BITS Hyderabad. So she's going to be therein, and she'll help us to understand what are the different stages in the exam of BITS, different subjects, everything from A to Z. So it's totally your time, and you can get your doubts cleared. Whatever queries you have, you can post it in the chat box. I'll be more than happy to answer them parallelly or at the end wherever they freeze in. So one by one, let's get going, Isha. Anything from your side if you wish to give a brief introduction to them before we get started?
Brief introduction as such, so you have given very nice introduction for me. I would just like to say hello to everyone and all the best for your future endeavors.
Thanks a lot, Isha. So starting with the first question, in like when it comes to GPAT, NIPER, BITS, they are three different domains, three different examinations. So how is BITS different when you compare it with NIPER?
Bits and NIPER, though syllabus is very same. Types of questions they ask is quite different. Like in Bits HD, they are asking questions where you have to actually sit and solve the sums. Okay, so they will give you a word problem and they will make you solve it in a certain amount of time. So that is a quite different from what I felt from NIPER. And types of applicative questions they asked are also more.
Again, talking about BITS, I suppose when it comes to NIPER, NIPER is 200 questions, 2 hours. With
Yes.
regards to BITS, what number of questions and what hours?
In bits you have 300 questions. Sorry,
Okay.
100 questions, and 100 questions in a time span. It is divided into two parts: 45 minutes for non-pharma and 105 minutes for the pharma part.
45 minutes for non-pharma and for pharma part, how many?
105 minutes.
So total it is of 2.5 hours.
So
Okay. And non-pharma questions, if I'm wrong, are 30 questions,
yes,
30,
sir.
including cons and vocabs both, maths and English.
Yes, and a little bit of logical reasoning.
Okay, something like what we used to usually have in our 7 standard scholarship. 7 comma
Exactly.
9 comma 11, what would be the next number? Can I say something of that sort?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Okay. So those would be simple logic questions where we can't afford to go wrong. Anywhere do we have questions which are going to be of higher level on cons? Because I suppose BITS has this non-core entrance common for even engineering students. Am I correct?
Yes. Generally, pharma students don't present answer maths questions. Like most of my friends haven't answered a single question in it.
Oh.
But if you have listened to your maths and statistic course in your second year, then I'm sure you're definitely you will be able to solve two or three questions. The reason why I scored little bit more marks than the others was I was able to solve three questions from maths and I solved all the questions from English. So if you are able to solve it, it is an added advantage. And secondly, for the first 45 minutes, those are the only questions which are available for you. So it's better if you solve it. Anyway, you're wasting your time if you don't.
So we cannot just fast forward. Suppose the first section is cons and vocabs, जहाँ पे मुझे 30 क्वेश्चन के लिए 45 मिनट्स मिलने वाले, and just cause of the phobia, if I'm not wrong, bits one correct question gives you 3 and one wrong takes away -1. Am I correct?
Yes.
So even in bits you have 33% negative marking, while in
Yes.
GPAT हमको 25% negative marking था. करेक्ट हुआ तो 4 एंड रॉन्ग हुआ तो वी यूज टू लूज -1. So on this grounds, if I have to compare, the reason why people don't touch cons और vocabs cause वो questions के बारे में ज्यादा पढ़ा नहीं है. 4 साल हमने सिर्फ यही पार्ट पढ़ा है with regards to your core part of it. So जो 45 minutes first है, you advise that that should be given a chance and we should practice on preliminary grounds even for those questions. Am I correct?
Yes, I am saying if you have some idea about it, there is a huge syllabus, but parts where you have probability, even other parts like matrices, these are very easy to solve, and even a little bit of practice is going to help you. And English questions are very easy. They are so simple that even layman without studying can go and answer those questions. So I would suggest please answer those.
So in case of vocabs or English, what are the type of questions? Simple meaning opposite पूछते हैं या passages होता है? How does it go?
They have lots of questions. I'll ask you which is the proper article in this place. Would you place a, an, or those? As simple as that. Or even some complex are given your pros, and from that you have to answer those questions or respective to that. And synonyms, antonyms, there were very less questions, so you can keep that aside, I feel.
So it would be right basic questions of prepositions, a and articles and all those stuffs as well. And at the same time, it would be something where we have to correlate it with maybe one or two synonyms and antonyms.
Yes, they will have one or two synonyms, antonyms, but not much.
Okay, so I suppose this goes on ground levels with somewhere with NIPER, where NIPER also has only two synonyms and two antonyms and nothing much to a great extent.
Yes.
टॉकिंग अबाउट द कॉन्स पार्ट ऑफ इट, कॉन्स में आपने बताया कि लॉजिकल रीजनिंग टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चंस भी थे 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, बट अदर देन दैट कॉन्स में वंस यू सेड वाज प्रोबेबिलिटी मेट्राइसिस which we did in
Yes.
our 11th 12th standard and even in our B.pharm as you mentioned. Probability
Yes.
तो चलो easy है, everyone can give it a go. How about matrices? मतलब matrices में 3 by 3 के matrix आते थे कि 2 by 3 के? I mean, how different was it from our conventional ones?
Honestly speaking, some of the questions were so easy that even 11th standard person can solve, which I was able to solve. And some questions were so difficult that I wasn't able to understand वो लोग का चाहते क्या है वो question से. So those were easy, like 3 by 3 matrices.
ईशा, आपका वॉइस कट हो रहा था. आई एम सॉरी, कैन यू जस्ट रिपीट इट? योर वॉइस वाज गेटिंग कट.
Okay. Like I said, some questions were very easy in matrices, like you said, 3 by 3 matrices, and you have to just answer that. And some were so difficult that I wasn't even able to understand कि मुझे उसमें answer क्या करना है. So that was a little bit difficult, but you don't have to solve all the questions. So even the topper of
Okay,
our batch, he didn't solve even a single question from math. So that is not very important.
so if you focus on the core part of it, a good amount of things gets through, and if you take anything from cons vocabs, it's always something added on for your
Better.
side.
Yes.
Okay. And coming to max part of it, probability हो गया, matrices हो गया, any other chapter जो usually आता है bits में, which you would advise to practice in, जहाँ पे simple formulas, like it can be something as simple as logarithm, universal sets, a union b, a intersection b, ऐसा कुछ, or is it majorly
No.
probability matrices? Sometimes I
Um,
suppose. Sorry, you can go ahead.
so major questions were about calculus, differential equations.
Okay.
So I would not suggest anybody to answer those because they are of very high level, like that they are for engineering students. So we weren't even taught about those questions. But simple questions you can always answer. I never answered a single question from calculus and differential equations.
Okay. So probability matrices would be a good target in. At the
Yes.
same time, anything from basic calculations, like I would say something which was a part of our semester 4 statistics, mean, median, mode, जैसा कुछ आता है, simpler level, or is it not a part?
There is not as simple question as just mean, median, and mode. We learned some different rules in statistics like chi square, t square, and stuff. Questions were on that, but I didn't solve those. I
So
wasn't prepared
chi-square
for
test,
that.
t-square test, then ANOVA. This is something which can be, if known to a certain extent, can help in.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Any resource where we can find previous year question papers of bits?
I still haven't found any resource. I also asked my seniors what I should study, and the syllabus copy was sufficient.
Okay. How many questions in that case do you think should be attempted from entire 100? कौन का 30 नहीं भी किया and pharma के 70 में से फिर कितने targets करने चाहिए if someone is targeting pharmaceutics at BITS Hyderabad to be specific?
To be specific, I would say 45 to 50 questions you should see try. And I'm saying because of a 33% and minus marks ho jata hai. So even I was scared. I personally attempted 40 questions
Okay.
all in total. If you are able to answer more questions, it's always better. So,
I suppose you
I guess
played with more accuracy because I suppose you were ranked 3 in pharmaceutics. So I suppose
yes,
you might be very much confident about the 40 questions which you attempted about their being correct.
yes.
So anything else you want to add on the NOR core part? Speed distance time जैसे questions आते हैं or is it very rare?
हाँ आते हैं but even there you have a certain differential equation and then you have to process that equation to find that answer.
Okay.
So
It's
it's
basically non core only and वो engineering वालों को ही तंग करने के लिए so it's better we don't touch it unless and
definitely.
until we have a base for it.
Hmm.
Talking about the core pharma topics जैसे हम लोग usually GPAT नाइपर के लिए we focus more on pharmacology, pharm chem so कुछ ऐसे specific topics या subjects है which should be targeted in this case.
In our case, most of the questions were on pharmaceutics part. Most of the questions, and I was a bit shocked because generally in NIPER and everything, more preference is given to say ecology or medchem, but here most of the questions were on pharmaceutics, and it was an added advantage for me because I like pharmaceutics. And most questions were on physical pharmacy.
Okay.
And
So
and even in physical pharmacy, like I said, they give you a word problem and then you have to apply a formula for that and find an answer. So such type of questions I wasn't used to these questions, but they were in our exam.
so PHARM numericals was something like Henderson-Hasselbalch equation or was it something like posology or some calculations part of it?
In posology, determine the density, Stokes Einstein equation, and something like that.
Oh, so it was something which was deep digging and not something which was
Hmm.
superficial, I suppose. Talking about pharmaceutics, you mentioned a good number of questions over there. So, was it basic pharmaceutics suspension emulsion, or was it tablet, capsules, nanosystems, gastroretentive drug delivery systems?
It covered everything, like from dispensing pharmacy to industrial pharmacy, biopharmaceutics. There were questions on each and everything. Most, like I said, most of the questions were on physical pharmacy, then it were followed by industrial pharmacy. Tablets were also there were good amount of questions, like 4 5 questions specifically for tablets, and even as simple as whites of paraffin, what is the use, how it is prepared. So as simple questions as simple as that were also there.
So, basic से लेके advanced तक सब कुछ ही tap करना है, suppose in that case.
But I would say if you take two texts, then it is going to be very easy for you because you have read most of the part, and it's like I said, it's quite applicative. So as far as you know, इसमें करना क्या है, so you can easily answer that. I didn't had much time. I started studying for at a very last moment for it, and then also I was able to cover everything nicely.
What are the fees of 2 years at BITS for entire post graduation period?
Fees and bits are very much as compared to an IPER. They are almost 10 lakhs tuition fees and 2 lakhs considering the rest of them. So all in all, 12 lakhs you have to invest in it.
For 2 years of masters, fees
Yes,
plus living expenses.
yes, yes. But
Now,
there is a very good chance over here that you get SBI say loan.
okay.
So just because you're a student of BITS, you're already eligible for taking the loan from BITS, and they provide you good amount of loan, like almost up to 10 lakhs people have taken loans depending upon your financial conditions, but that is an advantage, so you don't have to live off your parents उनसे ही पैसे लेके फिर then you can always make sure कि तुम लोग का education खुद के दम पे हो रहा है, so that is a very good thing.
Any advantage for reservation category? Any reduction in fees or something of that sort?
No, actually, that's what I liked about it. The all the scores you get and everything, everywhere you get, it is completely based on your merit and not on caste. So if you have good score, then you are definitely.
So fees would stay same irrespective of the caste you belong to. Because I suppose even NIPER has different fee structure for SC, ST, and general category, but here it would still be the same.
Yes.
Talking about the biggest question which I have heard multiple times, what about the stipend at BITS? Because I've heard two things. एक होता है if you are a GPAT qualified student, आपको GPAT के बाद जो stipend मिलता है 12,400 का, which you get it via AICT, you get that 12,400. And then
Hmm.
second thing I've heard that BITS से भी कुछ stipend मिलता है, BITS में कुछ teaching assistantship का भी role होता है, wherein we being students of masters take practical lab sessions for I guess bachelor students over there.
Yes. So, like you said, GPAT, if you are qualified, you get 12,400 stipend. And for GPAT qualified students, there is an fee waiver. And in that fee waiver, you get 13,600 every month as a fee waiver. And if you
Okay.
are qualified beats edge, at 13,600, you will get as a stipend every month. So all in all,
So
the
suppose
amount of money you are getting
yeah,
from
yeah,
the bits
go
is
ahead.
the
तो अगर मेरे को इसको सम अप करना है, मैं सिंपल भाषा में बोलूँ, अगर मैं जीपैट क्वालिफाइड कैंडिडेट हूँ एंड इफ माय जीपैट रैंक इज अराउंड 1500 1800 एंड दैट्स व्हाई आई डिसाइडेड टू राइट बिट्स. मैंने बिट्स लिखा, बिट्स में मेरा स्कोर अच्छा आया एंड मैंने बिट अप्लाई करने के टाइम बिट्स और जीपैट दोनों ऑप्शंस ओपन रखे. So now what I'm going to get as a stipend is going to be 12,600 because I'm GPAT qualified. At the same time, I'll be applicable to get that 13,600 जो bit से मिलता है.
yes,
So in total, my stipend per month goes to 26,000, 12,400 plus 13,600.
yes.
So 26,000 is my stipend per month. So I suppose 2 साल का stipend around 5 lakhs हो जाता है.
Uh, So
So your
most of
fees
the money,
approximately, yeah, 50% of your fees are recovered in that case.
definitely.
And nothing like teaching assistantship separately in that case then further.
You have to do a teaching assistantship, but it is very easy. And thanks to COVID, you don't have to actually sit in the labs and do anything. You have to take seminars, make Excel sheets. So for us, it was very easy task and get a good amount of money from that. So it was an added advantage for us.
बिट्स स्टाइपेंड जो 13,600 का है, इज इट ओनली फॉर बिट्स एचडी क्वालिफाइड स्टूडेंट्स और इवन जीपैट क्वालिफाइड स्टूडेंट्स आर एलिजिबल?
Even GPAT qualified students are eligible.
सो वाइल फॉर्म
They
फिलिंग मुझे दो ऑप्शन सेलेक्ट करने होते हैं, इज इट समथिंग लाइक दैट?
I would advise you to do so because if your rank is in GPAT is not that good enough, you don't want to take the risk of not applying for BITS HD. But you can if you have very good amount of marks and you still somehow don't get score in NIPER, then I think only GPAT is enough. One of my seniors, Samruddhi, she was from also PHARMAELITE. She was applied only by GPAT, and I decided to go by both. Though I
So
was
someone who is
admitted by
applying,
GPAT.
someone who is applying only via GPAT and someone who is applying with GPAT and bits HD, both are eligible to get entire 26k,
Yes.
12,400 plus 13,600. And if a non GPAT qualified comes in, वो एग्जाम लिख रहा है, वो बिट्स क्वालिफाई हो रहा है, वो जीपैट अनक्वालिफाइड, तो ही इज एलिजिबल टू गेट दैट 13,600.
Yes.
So minimum 13,600 something as a stipend would any day come in.
Yes,
In
definitely.
another language 5 को 10 कर दो, वो stipend उनको students को वापस दे दो. Their amount being
Huh.
written to any which ways you're getting it per month, so that's an added advantage.
Yes. So you don't have to take money from your parents once you come here. So only fees they have to pay.
And so total तो चलो बहुत अच्छा न्यूज़ है कि that मेरे को 26k per month मिल रहा है. In fact, I can send a good amount of money back home as well, and maybe I can start repaying my education loan parallel. What are the living
Definitely.
expenses per month at BITS if I'm a hostelite?
In hostel you have to pay almost 40,000 using
2 years
your stay. No, per semester.
per semester. Okay.
Yes, which
So
is
this
quite
includes
expensive.
food as well.
Yes, it includes food and stay as well. And bits provide you food three times. Okay, so breakfast, lunch, sorry, four times. Breakfast, lunch, evening snacks, and dinner. You actually don't have to go outside and eat anything else. sometimes we don't even eat the food they provide. We don't have time for that. So,
Oh,
and other than that, staying is also very good because it is a single occupancy room. You don't have to share your room with anyone. And the living, would say, lifestyle is also very nice over here. And they provide you medical facilities for free, like medical checkups and everything. And you have courts to play and beautiful campus, of course. So
what
it's a
we
good.
discussed now initially, 12 lakhs as an expense, that includes even this 40,000, right? 6 months ka.
Yes. Hmm.
Actually, it is on par, I suppose, with the expense at other hostels as well. Because 22,000 6 months ka kuch rent le lete wo log hostel rent, and 3,000 something we pay per month as food charges. Anyway, so even that's a good part in. So do we have to pay semester wise fees, or it's entire bulk of 1 year at a go?
Semester wise fees.
So जो stipend से बचा, that I can utilize to pay even next month, next installment or next semester fees as well.
Yes.
To get an idea about what are the packages which usually come out with bids, because मैंने ऐसा सुना है from my colleagues, I suppose he was senior of Samruddhi, one of my bachelor college batchmates. So उसने बोला जो non technical jobs होते हैं, scientific writing, pharmacovigilance, or something out like IPR, regulatory affairs, they get a higher package compared to core packages of R&D. Is it the case?
Yes, it is true. Uh, I guess it is because whenever you're going in for R&D, people, any company would prefer a PhD student over a master student. So even though they get a package of 4.5 to 5 lakhs का package मिलता है, and for non-core you get around 5.5 to 7 तक का package मिल जाता है non-core को, depending upon you how you give your interview. And the teaching style in the bits is so good that you are taught in an industrial perspective, so that like we have individual subjects like quality assurance, we have IPR as a separate subject, we have clinical research as a separate subject. So even when you're learning only that part now, you don't have to like say prepare for your interview. Only that much is enough, and that is the reason people get more jobs in the non-core. And especially for the girls, people always prefer non-core jobs.
What is the highest package irrespective of non-core and core?
And like I said, 7 lakh तक मिल highest अब तक मैंने सुना है.
And which are the companies usually hiring?
Last year, major students were hired by Pfizer. Almost 5 to 6 students were hired by Pfizer, and followed by Cipla. Most Cipla themselves prefer Mumbai ke students, and we also prefer Cipla because we want to come back. So another option is Cipla. Then
Very good.
IQVIA is a non-core industry, so you can get on there as well. And Dr. They didn't come this year, but I have heard they do come.
Is there any preference selection to be taken while filling the application form?
While filling the application form, you have to give your branch initially. Like during the application form filling, you have to give whether you want to choose Hyderabad campus, you want to choose Pilani campus, or which branch you want to select. You have to give your preference initially. And after all the admission process is done, if there are any seats, you can always change. But generally, you have to fill the form initially itself.
Which campus would you advise in that case more?
Uh, so in Hyderabad campus, there is only one branch, that is pharmaceutics. And in Pilani campus, they have pharmaceutics, they have Cology, they have Medchem, and plain M.pharm. So in Hyderabad campus, advantages is entire focus is on that pharmaceutics ke 20 log ko. And the faculty we have in Hyderabad campus is amazing. They are very nice people. So I preferred Hyderabad campus, and another reason was it was very close to home. Pilani, I felt it was a bit far away. Initially, people felt like Pilani campus was a better option, but nowadays people are turning towards Hyderabad campus thanks to the good placement, especially for the last 2 years.
Okay, so between Hyderabad and Pilani, Hyderabad would be a good go, especially if you are a Sutix interested person.
Definitely.
What are the core areas of research at BITS when it comes to pharmaceutics? Because I suppose there are a lot of people who are working there even on microneedle drug delivery systems,
Yes,
and even they are external for different universities for viva purpose, if I'm not wrong, and they're more into nanosystems, which is the new future. So, how
yes.
does that help practically on present grounds?
On present ground, as a first year M.pharm student, I have already prepared microneedle once as my research interest. And people over there are very helpful. Even your guides, your PhD students, they will help you in all the way possible. If you really are interested in research, I would say BITS is a very good platform because they get various types of what do you call
Learning
um
exposure, I would say, different
learning
delivery systems.
exposure. Yes, yes, and research funding is on a huge amount. CSIR, DBT, UGC research funding, those people get. And secondly, if you just go on BITS Hyderabad or BITS ka website and you read for the faculties, they have pages filled about their qualification, their whatever good things they have done, and that is really fascinating. That makes you work even harder under them. So that is a really good thing.
टॉकिंग अबाउट जीपैट क्वालिफाइड कैंडिडेट अप्लाइंग टू बिट्स, तो कुछ ऐसा स्पेसिफिक है 500 रैंक के अंदर हो, 1000 रैंक के अंदर हो, या इफ यू आर जस्ट क्वालिफाइड इट स्टिल हेल्प्स हिम?
It actually does help. Like I said in the Samruddhi's batch, it was quite easier for them. I'm not saying easier, but way easier for them. For us, the competition slightly increased because of at that time none other colleges in the university had started applications. So most of the people were going jahan mile udhar chale jao in that case. And I guess yes, I can assume that for y'all, your competition is going to increase a little bit. And the little ambiguous part in bits is you don't get to know your rank in the bits XD, or you
Okay.
don't get to know what is the highest rank or what is the highest marks. You actually have to sit and ask people, "Tera kya aaya? Tera kya aaya?" So it's always better to aim at the higher part to get the marks.
So
And
if
there are almost 100 seats, so chances of getting it.
सुटिक्स के 20 सीट्स है, इफ आई एम समवन जो फार्मास्यूटिक्स टारगेट कर रहा है, so as you mentioned 40-45 questions out of 70 should be a good go, plus
Yes.
3 or 5 questions from other 30 if and if only possible.
Hmm.
Okay. एंड जब कोई कैंडिडेट सपोज बिट्स से और जीपैट दोनों से अप्लाई करता है, एंड इफ सपोज सिर्फ बिट्स में, अच्छा ये लोग रैंक तो देते नहीं है, सो दैट्स अ डिफरेंट एजेंडा ऑल टुगेदर, बट अगर किसी का रैंक लेट सपोज 100 है और किसी का 120 है, बट द गाय हु इज 120 इन बिट्स एचडी had a better rank in GPAT compared to the guy who has 100 rank in bits HD. So is there any way out or how do they take it up? Because वो लोग तो डायरेक्ट प्लेस दे देते, they are not giving you bits rank, so how does this happen?
Okay, so there is a process in their applications. First round is only for GPAT students, GPAT qualified students, and after that they have taking the marks of both GPAT and BITS HD. So if you are qualified for both, they will compare both your marks and whichever the person has highest, he or she is given the preference.
Okay. And last year, due to COVID, how was the bits entrance being done? Was it from home, although online, proctored system?
No, they called us under the center. वो TCS का जनरली वो जहाँ पे नाइपर का एग्जाम होता है. I guess this year बिट्स का फर्स्ट डिग्री का एग्जाम happened online only, so you can expect कि तुम लोग का online हो सकता है.
So in that case, will it
Yes.
be a proctored system? जो usually होता है, I suppose yes.
Yes, yes. Even for our mid-sem exams, we have proctored system. So you will have proctored system. That is for sure.
And do they take into consideration semester marks as well?
No.
So there is nothing to do
Uh,
with semester marks pointers, because मैंने कुछ तो last year पढ़ा था, I don't know, शायद it was Manipal. I don't recollect exactly, like some percentage of semester marks were being taken and some percentage of online entrance score was being taken into consideration.
No, no. Only score is only from GPAT and BITS HD. There is a minimum score that is 60% you should score as an aggregate for your throughout B.pharm ka marks. And that is the
Aggregate
only
marks,
thing
semester
really.
1 to
Yes.
semester 8.
Yes,
जो usually
60% आना
90
चाहिए.
correct.
Mhm.
Students, I have shared in the feedback form in the chat box. You can share in your feedback in, and if at all you have any queries, feel free to post in. Isha, one last question, and if I'm starting now for BITS prep and was interested in zootechnology, a different domain altogether, then what should be my first goal for subjects? What would be my number of papers to be practiced? Or as you mentioned, 50 questions out of 100 in total, right? 40 45
Yes.
from the core part and 3 4 from कॉन्स vocab. ऐसे देखे तो वो 30 क्वेश्चंस कोई भी फार्मा के कैंडिडेट्स टच नहीं करते, तो फार्मा वालों के लिए तो इनडायरेक्टली वो पेपर 70 क्वेश्चंस का ही हो जाता.
Right.
तब अगर आप वो 70 में से
So
55 60 करेक्ट हिट कर लेते हो, इट compensates to a good extent a lot of things around.
definitely, definitely. एंड आई वुड सजेस्ट कि तुम लोग को जो भी सर ने प्रोवाइड किया है एंड टेस्ट सीरीज का जो चालू था तुम लोग का रेगुलर, that was sufficient for me and I'm pretty sure that would be sufficient for you all. I never touched anything other than the notes which were provided to me and notes which I made for my GPAT preparations, and that were more than enough for me during the
So
bits
whatever we
exam.
were preparing during your NIPER and BITS exam, a good amount of NIPER chunk was hand in hand going in for BITS exam, right? Because we
Uh,
were together
uh,
in for NIPER. BITS was something you just attempted to have a backup in place last year.
uh, so your voice is breaking. Can you please ask again?
Is it clearly audible now? Isha, is it clearly
Yes,
audible
sir.
now? Yeah, so I was just saying that when it came to your BITS preparation, NIPER preparation last year, how did PharmaElite make a difference basically?
Yes, yes. It was very helpful for me. I started with PharmaElite very late, right before my GPAT. I wish I would have done that very sooner. But the way questions were based in that test series, they were very helpful for me in my GPAT, even in my NIPER preparation and even in my bits. And I was able to crack all the three exams in the one go. So those were very enough for me, I feel.
Lastly, Isha, any message from your side for all those students who are aspiring for BITS and
I would say please don't be pressurized. There are always many options open for you if one closes. So if you're not get you didn't get GPAT or if you didn't get NIPO, there are always various other options. So please don't be pressurized of what marks I will get. Study very nicely and give your exams very nicely because ultimately the knowledge you gain is what matters and not your rank.
thanks a lot, Isha, and all the best for your exams starting from Monday. Irrespective of
Yes.
that, you stood in and you were there to help in. Thanks a lot. All the best.
Thank
Have
you
a
so much,
great
sir.
future ahead. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, sir. Thank you for
Thanks
the
everyone.
opportunity.
Thanks a lot, Isha. Take care. COVID times, and you're still at Hyderabad with labs going on, high time, and so please
Yes,
do take care for the same.
definitely.
All the best, everyone. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, sir.